Good afternoon. Welcome to everyone who's here. I want to give some special thanks, first of all, to Councilmember James Brown. I know that you are supportive of this initiative that we're announcing, and I want to thank you for that. I also would like to recognize Vice Mayor Steve Kay, Councilmember Fred Brown, Councilmember Richard Maloney, and is Councilmember Bill Farmer here? There you are. Thank you very much for being here. Are there any other council members here? Okay, thank you all for being here. I want to thank the faith community, which has an important role in the initiative we're announcing today. I particularly want to thank Pastor Siebert Taylor. Thank you. Pastor C.B. Akins is here. Reverend Fred Mitchell is here. Are there other pastors? We have our pastor community who are very supportive of us and this initiative. I also want to mention today that we have our equity officer, Daryl Thompson, and Police Chief Martin Schaefer from Fayette County Public Schools. And Assistant County Attorney Heather Maddox is with us. Todd Gauntz from Fayette County Probation and Parole. Sheriff Kathy Witt is here. Thank you, Sheriff, for being here. Julius Johnson with Lexington Rescue Mission. PG Peoples, CEO and President of Lexington Urban League. Thank you, PG. Anita Franklin is here. Anita lost her son to gun violence, and I really appreciate that you're here and that you're such a positive voice for what we're trying to do. We are planning a new initiative to address violent crime, to attempt to reduce the potential for young people to fall into a life of violent crime. It's called Safety Net. Safety Net teams will work directly with high-risk households. Police will take a simple message into the neighborhoods. Risky, threatening behavior often leads to gun violence and even death. This is preventable, and it has to stop. We have the community resources to help, and Safety Net will bring them to our citizens. Members of the Safety Net teams will include police, social services, representatives of the faith community, and One Lexington. And our director of One Lexington, Laura Hatfield, is here with us. She's behind me. And our Commissioner of Social Services, Chris Ford, is here. And we are all in this together. We have been working on Safety Net initiative for several weeks now, and we hope to have it in place by the end of the year. Although violent crime is down in our city overall, shootings are up, and many involve our young people. Over the past several months, we have had several shootings involving our youth. And in the past few days, as most of you know, we have had homicides involving teenagers. With One Lexington, community policing, and federal, state, and local partners, we have several strong programs in place already that have made a difference, but now it's time to take the next step. We plan to start Safety Net by the end of this year. First, I'd like for us to hear from Police Chief Lawrence Weathers, who can tell us a little bit more about the Safety Net initiative. Chief?
Good afternoon, everyone. Safety Net is just our way of saying it. It's time for us to get off our bottoms and actually do something that matters. We all operate in our little silos. We all think we have our little niche carved out for us, but we all have to be involved in every aspect of this. And we've got people dying. And I can put people in jail. I can do that. But I'd rather not. I'd rather not go to the hospital to take reports. I'd rather not walk with the coroner up to somebody's house. What I want is I want for this to stop. Safety net will allow us to bring needed resources and answers to people who need it most, to people who are suffering. Sometimes people don't know what to do. And yeah, you can go on the internet or you can look at a piece of paper and it'll give you a list of services that are out there. But sometimes you need a face-to-face. Sometimes you need somebody to come and talk to you, to not necessarily point you in the right direction, but turn you in the right direction. And that's going to take all of us. I don't know everything, but it's people in this room and people out there who know just about everything. And I have to quit sitting on information. I have to learn to share. And with my public safety partner, Sheriff Witt, the U.S. Attorney, Commonwealth Attorney, County Attorney, Fayette County Public Schools, we're used to sharing information. But now we have to be willing, when we see things that are wrong, that are going wrong, we have to be willing to step outside and bring other people in. And that means the community out there has to be willing to bring us stuff too. Anita Franklin says this all the time, you know, when she talks about the stop snitching culture. It's time for us to realize that silence leads to violence, and it's costing us lives, young lives, people who won't be able to attend their high school prom, people that won't get married, people that won't see their grandchildren. That's what it's costing us. So it's time to get up and do something. When we hear something or see something, we've got to say something. Not after it happens, but before. And that's what Safety Net is geared to do. It's when we recognize something, somebody needs something, we send it to their house. We send it to their front porch. We send it to their living room. We get in there and we work with them. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to work with our community because the community should work for each other to make sure we all survive and we all have happy and healthy lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Weathers. We also greatly appreciate Robert Duncan for being here today. He can tell us more about the work his office has been doing in our city. Rob?
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. My name is Rob Duncan. I'm the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Kentucky. I want to thank Mayor Gorton and fellow law enforcement professionals for the opportunity to join us today. As part of the Project Safe Neighborhoods program, we are committed to help reduce violent crime here in Lexington. PSN is based on strong partnerships among federal, state, and local law enforcement officers and prosecutors. A major component of the PSN initiative is identifying, investigating, and prosecuting the most violent offenders in our community, holding them accountable for their criminal actions, deterring others from similar conduct, and most importantly, protecting the public. As part of PSN, other law enforcement agencies in our office helped form the Fayette County Violent Crime Task Force almost 2 years ago. Working in partnership, we've made progress, including, as the mayor mentioned, a significant reduction in violent crime last year. However, we all recognize that there is more work to be done. We also recognize that developing and maintaining positive relationships with community members is critically important to reducing violent crime. Education and prevention efforts are foundational pieces of the Project Safe Neighborhoods effort. The Safety Net initiative announced today complements those PSN efforts and helps address those vital areas by engaging with members of the community, offering services and resources to those who might be at risk. We appreciate the opportunity to continue to be partners in this important initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rob. Heather Maddox is an assistant county attorney who prosecutes juveniles. Heather, tell us a little bit about your office and how you will work with Safety Net.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not just a juvenile prosecutor, I'm a parent, and I'm a parent of 2 teenagers. So when I see young lives being lost, it hits me where I live. When I see children pick up a gun and make a decision to point it at someone else, to pull a trigger, to fire a gun at someone else, forever altering the trajectory of their lives, it hits me where I live. And I think we sometimes forget that the impact goes beyond just the victims and the people that we identify as perpetrators. We forget all of the third parties, the innocent third parties. We forget the children who have seen an older, looked up to, beloved sibling in handcuffs put in the back of a police cruiser. We forget the grandmother whose house is targeted by gunfire because despite her best efforts to raise a teenager, she is dealing with a young man or a young woman who is engaging in certain lifestyle, and that makes her and her home and the rest of her family unsafe. One of the things that we want to recognize with the Safety Net Project is that there are all of these collateral impacts. These children who witness gun violence or who witness their siblings being arrested, they're traumatized. It makes it difficult for them to go to school and concentrate on their schoolwork. These parents and grandparents who are raising our children, repeated court appearances can have a negative impact on their work. Sometimes we have parents who have said, I can't come to court to be with my child because I'll lose my job. It also has a negative impact emotionally on them when they see a child that has to be incarcerated. That's not something we ever want to do, but sometimes it's the only way we know how to keep both the children who are charged with crimes and other members of the community safe. I don't think anyone in this room is here out of any motivation other than to serve our community. But I know personally, sometimes we tend to forget that society is a big machine, and we focus on being a gear and being a really good gear and turning in our little circle. And what we forget is that for a machine to work, all of the gears have to mesh together. So prosecutors have to talk to police officers. We have to talk to teachers. We have to talk to parents. We have to talk to the members of our faith-based community. But most importantly, we have to talk to and listen to the members of the community that we are called to serve. We will never be effective as public servants if we only want to meet the needs that we think people should have. If we are truly going to serve our community, we have to be willing to listen and let people express to us what their needs are. We have to meet them where they are, and we have to meet them where they are willing to allow us to be. I'm excited about this initiative. I truly believe that the collaboration across agencies and the fact that we are reaching out beyond the traditional scope of government public servants and into other people in the community who want to be of service is the most effective way to reach our young people and to keep our community safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Heather. And finally, Laura Hatfield, our director of One Lexington in the mayor's office, is going to tell us more about One Lexington's role in this.
Good afternoon. Just like Heather just said, this is about going to where the people are. For the last 2 years with One Lexington, we have been going to where people are. I knew nothing about the issues when I started a couple years ago, so I went to where the people were. I met with our chief, I met with our sheriff, I met with Anita, I met with many of you around here, and I listened. And what I learned was that if we're going to have impact, we go to where people are. And so from a neighborhood perspective, we've been going where Pastor Mitchell is and Reverend Gaines in the Winburn neighborhood, working with community and coming up with short and long-term strategies to develop safety, enhance safety and quality of life. We've been going to probation and parole the first Tuesday of the month at 8:30 at Circuit Court to where the people are, to talk to them about needed resources. Organizations are coming to where the people are to talk to them about rehab, housing, insurance. Julius has been going to say, I'm where you were, and here I am now. We've been going to the Juvenile Detention Center, and I hope you know that when I say we, it's not Laura Hatfield, it's all of you, and it's all of you, it's in our community. You all are going to where the people are, and Safety Net is about going to where the people are. Police know oftentimes, schools know oftentimes where potential issues are, where potential threats may be. This literally is walking to where the people are in a home to say, we know what could be happening. We don't want you to get hurt. We don't want anyone else to get hurt. But we also know that you have barriers, and barriers maybe that you can't remove on your own. And that's where the team comes in. That team is you. That team's our social services, our truly trusted street outreach people, our neighbors, people who they may relate to, but they may not relate to me, and our faith community. To say, if you need a safety net, we want to be that bridge to help you find success. Because what this initiative is, it is about their success and our city's collective success. So my hope is that as we build it slow and steady and it lasts, and that the people in the home where we target and get bridges to their success are standing back here in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Laura. I do want to thank all of you for coming today. The important message of Safety Net is we are a community. We are all in this together. And every person here is going to be important in this initiative. And this is about our community, our people, our neighbors, our friends, and making us stronger and taking this next step to safety, particularly among juveniles. So thank you very much for coming today. We will take questions individually after this. So thank you very much.